Hi there, my name's Robert McKinnon and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist based in Nottingham, and I'm also the principal of Transformation School of Clinical Hypnosis and have been teaching hypnotherapy since 2007. As a practitioner, my main areas of expertise are anxiety, including social anxiety, fear of public speaking, and other phobias such as fear of flying, fear of spiders, fear of heights, those kind of things. I also work with confidence issues, habits such as smoking, weight management, and also sports performance as well, helping people to get into their sort of peak performance zone so sports people can be the best that they can be. And also pain management as well. Another of my specialist areas is pain management. But the main thing I wanted to talk about here is the diploma course that we run and have been running since 2007. So it's a fully accredited training course, accredited by the General Hypnotherapy Standards Council, which means that upon successful completion of the course you would be eligible to set up as a practitioner, become a member of the General Hypnotherapy Register and various other bodies as well if you wanted to be, although these are all optional. You would also be able to obtain insurance if you were wanting to set up in practice. And it's also worth mentioning that we're actually one of the very few training schools in the UK. In fact, I don't know of any other that does this. We have our own ongoing support in the form of a peer support group, and we have regular peer support meetings, sometimes in person, sometimes online. And also we have something called Hypno Club as well, which is similar to the peer support group, but it's a more practical based group that gets together every now and then to try out new techniques and just basically see what's possible with the kind of work that we do. Now my approach to teaching is it's very informal. I like to think I'm very easygoing and very friendly, and I'm more than happy to have discussions about different topics and for people to ask questions and things like that. Now, we intentionally, deliberately don't work with large groups. It's very important that if you were to sign up and do our practitioner course, that you feel included and feel part of the, really feel part of the group. So for that reason, we don't work with more than about 6, maybe 7 at the absolute maximum students at any moment in time. So you wouldn't just be a number sitting in a room with 30, 40, 50 other people. You would hopefully feel very included in with the rest of the group, and that's really important. In terms of the subject matter, I like to think that the course has a logical structure in the sense that we start off by looking at the basics, then we move on to the different techniques, and then we kind of pull everything together to teach you how to apply these techniques in different cases, in different areas. So we start off by talking about hypnosis, what it is, what it isn't, why hypnosis is important, and obviously how to do hypnosis. And you'll learn several different ways of doing and using hypnosis. We then move on to look at the mind and understand the rules of the mind, how the mind works, so you can understand how people develop phobias, why people find it difficult to break habits, what anxiety actually is, how anxiety actually works. And then we move on to look at the brain itself. And my colleague, Steve Lowe, Steve's a former dentist, and he's particularly interested in the science behind how hypnotherapy works. So he presents a significant part of the course nowadays, and he looks at the brain, the structure of the brain chemistry, so-called the neurochemicals and those kind of things, and also the brain-body connection, including the brain-gut axis, which we now know is really, really important with conditions such as IBS and maybe even depression and anxiety as well. So in the way that diet affects our moods in a real scientific sort of way. Steve also looks at things such as the stress response, including polyvagal theory, that may be new to some of you, and also a brief look also at epigenetics. So it's a really fascinating area, a really fascinating part of the course. Once Steve's covered that, then I get into the techniques side of things. So we look at helping or teaching you to help the client to find the root cause of their problem and then deal with the root cause of the problem. Because I'm a great believer that if a person's got anxiety or a phobia or a problem with comfort eating, let's say, there's a cause. There's always an underlying cause. And my way of working is to find out what is that cause so that we can work through that, so that not only does the problem go, it's gone for good. It's not going to creep back in again a little bit further down the line. So it's a really important part of the course. We also look at something called parts therapy or parts integration therapy, which is really designed for helping people to stop unwanted habits such as smoking, overeating, nail biting, those kind of things. But you can also use it for emotional issues as well. It can be used for phobias, it can be used for anxiety as well, and also with sports performance, in fact. We also spend the whole weekend looking at NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, including teaching you what's called the fast phobia cure, also known as the rewind technique, which is an incredibly quick way of helping people to get rid of lifelong phobias. Literally 10 or 15 minutes, a person could be completely free of a phobia that they might have had for 20, 30, 40 years. We also look at something called the swish pattern, which again is designed for helping people to stop unwanted habits, unwanted behaviours. We look at anchors, including something called collapsing anchors, and also something called the Walt Disney strategy, which is a really useful NLP technique used for, it's more of a coaching tool, but it's a really effective and really powerful tool. We then move on to look at the mind coaching part of the course, or performance coaching if you want to think of it as that, which is really about helping primarily sports people, but it can be applied to anyone who has a need to perform in the arts, let's say, for example, and helping them basically to be the best that they can be, to get into that peak performance mindset, or the flow state, if you want to call it that. We then move on to look at specialist areas. So we start now to pull all these different techniques together and look at various specialist areas, including smoking cessation, weight management, pain management, stress management, and also how to work with anxiety and phobias and those and confidence issues and panic attacks and those kind of things. As we get towards the end of the course, we then start to look at things such as setting up in practice, so continued professional development, insurance, peer supervision, and those kind of things. And as I mentioned earlier, we have our own peer support group, which you would be able to join. And we also cover marketing, and also towards the end of the course, my colleague Louise Page, Louise comes in and spends half a day teaching and demonstrating, if there are willing volunteers, teaching past life regression. And I'll be honest, past life regression, it's not really my cup of tea, so I'll leave it to the experts. So Louise is the expert on that, and she'll come in and talk about that. Anyway, of course, not everyone has the time and the money to spend doing a full diploma course, which is why from time to time we run other shorter courses as well. Some of these courses are taught in the classroom, some of them are done online, and in fact we have one coming up in the not too distant future, which is an online course over 8 weeks, and it's basically an evening class run over Zoom, and it will actually include a lot of the content from the diploma course. But obviously we don't go into quite the same depth and detail, so it's a more condensed sort of version of the course. But it's really aimed at people who are interested in the subject matter, maybe want to improve their own lives and maybe help other people to improve their lives, but without actually setting up in practice as a practitioner, because you wouldn't be able to do that if you did the shorter course, of course. That's not the aim of it. If you're interested in either one-to-one therapy with myself, either online or at my practice in Carlton, or if you're interested in the diploma course, the full practitioner course, or if you're interested in one of the shorter courses that comes along from time to time, please get in touch. If you have any questions, please let me know. My email address is robert@nottinghamcoaching.co.uk. That's robert@nottinghamcoaching.co.uk. And my telephone number is 0115 9871 581. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. As I say, if you've got any questions, if you want to get in touch, then you know where to find me. So thanks very much, and bye.